Una ciudad dorada, profetizada por las leyendas y creada por los dioses. Un monumento a la cooperación entre la humanidad y los cielos.
Yeah, so we trying to talk about Road to El Dorado or what? Okay, so this is the year of bringing back the things that made us the people we are today. 20 Remind Teen. I already did Black Eyed Peas, which was the first 50% of my personality, so let's just round it out. I know people like this movie, but I seriously don't think they like it enough. I'm not saying we need to get rid of this Statue of Liberty so we can have a VHS copy of the Road to El Dorado on a really high pedestal, but like, wouldn't this country seem a lot more welcoming if that were the first thing you see before you hop off your ship to have your name changed to freaking Even Stevens or whatever? And granted, I'm not sure if that's how it works. Please do not fact check that. I'm gonna get a brass tacks here, folks. The Road to El Dorado is top 10 animated movie material? Yeah, this movie is dope. But it's not that movie though. El Dorado came out right before DreamWorks went full-time CG, so we get this dumb good-looking hand-drawn stuff, and oh, it's Crash Bandicoot now? Oh, and here we go. You know, I have nothing against 3D stuff. I don't, but you gotta put in perspective, right? People have been drawing stuff by hand since hands were invented, and people have been animating with computers since like 2015. Consider how recently this looked incredible, and then immediately refund your ticket to Toy Story 4. Sell your iPad, run into the woods, you're free. Some have criticized they don't look or move cartoonish enough, but I think the balance is perfect, you know? It's crisp. They use the animation to make it look lifeier than life, if that makes any sense. As for the story, the movie follows two Spanish con men who, through a series of mishaps, end up on their way to the fabled city of El Dorado, that means cooked until browned. It's a road trip comedy, at first anyways, but then, through a series of escalating mishaps, the two find themselves being revered as gods in the city. Can they use this opportunity to line their pockets, find love, and squeeze out some just simply slamming Elton John singles? Okay, one sec on that though. Oh, Schlubby, this movie's a hit. I don't care what they say in these profoundly thoughtful New York Times reviews. They complain that the movie wasn't colonialist enough. Oh, no. Oh my god, they say that. Here's the mailbox to your local center if you want chit chat. These early reviews are really fascinating to read. It's like when Pretty Woman came out and all these critics said it was bad, but we like it. We like it now, I think. Okay, but this one is lit. Where's this guy's Broadway adaptation? Really though, call me, I'm a small-time artist with big-time ideas, just do it. Basically, one of the biggest complaints people have is that it's just another road trip movie. Road is in the title after all, and if there's one thing we know, it's that the title of something will give us all the possible information we could ever need about it. And yeah, that is a chunk of it, but one that has wildly sharp humor and just crunkin' Elton John tracks. Okay, one second on that though. The protagonists, Miguel and Tulio, are just instantly likable from their first 5 seconds on screen. You get this dynamic and you just want to jam with them for the next 90 minutes, you know? They get a horse and it's like the horse from Tangled, but it's in this movie, and that's awesome. Okay, the road trip is fun, but once they get to El Dorado, the plot kicks in major. Okay, I'm about to use the word Shakespearean a whole bunch, but please, oh, for the love of God, bear with me. Bear with me though. Bear with. This movie is freaking Shakespearean in the most literary of senses. I'm serious, dude. Okay, so they get to El Dorado, series of mishaps, blah, 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 blah. People think they're gods now. It's a typical comedy of error and errors by the book. Mistaken identity, series of miscommunications, uproarious comedy to keep the jig down. It's straight out the Bard's Parchment. Hark fam. And I'll give you one guess whose cast is the main characters. Kevin Kline and Kenneth freaking Branagh. And I'm just gonna check this on screen so you guys have a point of reference for that. Kenneth freaking Branagh! Two actors both known for playing major Shakespearean roles both on stage and screen. Coincidence? No. And regardless, even if it's not literally 12th night photocopied by your senior year lit teacher, it does its own thing real cool like. It seriously doesn't play like a kid's movie. It doesn't play like most movies, not in the moments that count. They don't get busted in a major plot derailing moment. They shorthand everything we need to know about their downfall and use it to just bolster the characters, and wow, it's so sick. It's kind of like The Iron Giant. Am I allowed to say that? F it, I'm going to. These are both great movies because they were ambitious beyond the scope of their limitations and play by their own rules. Kids movies honestly have the liberty to non-conform harder than anyone else, and it can be great. It's why when a kids movie is really good, you don't say, that was good for a kids movie. You say, that was a good movie. Your freaking sister who hates this stuff goes and sees it with you, and you all say, oh damn, nice. Oh. And it doesn't hurt that its soundtrack slaps harder than a Donkey Kong Down special during a 15-minute melee to unlock Congo Jungle. Are you alienated yet? Okay, I'll talk about about it now. Elton John brought some heat for this one, folks. Elton John, the white Billy Joel, maybe you've heard of him. Recent star of musical biopic that people are already anticipating forgetting about. Our champ brought it all for Dorado, man. People continue to lose their mind to this day over the Tarzan soundtrack, and Phil Collins walked away with an Oscar for that one. The Oscar that's keeping Trey Parker from being an EGOT, isn't that nice? Okay, but the thing about the Tarzan soundtrack is that it doesn't even make any explicit reference to Tarzan. It's just some sweet Phil Collins tracks, and there's like a single hand drum beat in there, I think, because it's a jungle. Hold on, I'm listening. Okay, there it is. But Elton John really busted it out for El Dorado. He was coming hot off The Lion King, which, look, I'm not gonna go crazy and say that The Lion King, which in and of itself is as close to being an EGOT as freaking Trey Parker's, has a weak soundtrack, but I will say this. You know which of these two I'm more likely to bust out on the old pod if I need some hype, and I'll give you a hint. It ain't The Morning Report. Yes, I just whipped out an esoteric reference to the stage production to make fun of The Lion King, may I help you, sir? We've got it all, folks. We got the fun road trip song. We've got the fun not Hakuna Matata song, and the fun centerpiece of it all. We got the opening, which I can't play, but here's 2 seconds of a cover, so I think I won't get sued. Okay, I only played 1 second because I got nervous, but watch this guy here. He's slapped. Oh, El Dorado bops and has songs that reference explicitly what is happening in the story. None of that Phil Collins. I wrote this single 2 years ago in my car. Added a single hand beat on it so you wouldn't notice. Even though, yes, Tarzan is lit, I'm not actually a psychopath. El Dorado is great. If you forgot about it, watch it. You'll have fun. There are people who really like this movie. It's its own baffling little community. Like the people who actively post in the lo-fi hip-hop beats feed. What do they know that we don't? I respect them all, though. This movie is like an old amusement park that shut down that people are still playing in and having a good time. Look, there's enough fun stuff here that you can genuinely milk your enjoyment. For a 20-year-old 90-minute animated flick, that's pretty good. Especially one with no spin-offs, sequels, toys, or anything. The fandom was never meant to be, and that sort of just makes it cooler. I won't end by contriving a point, though. This movie meant a lot to me as a kid, and I stand tall by it. It's a half of who I am, and maybe that makes me an underdeveloped baby person, but I'll take it. I'll take it.